The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTRTV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. In 1982, Lanier was opened as a 3/8 mile dirt track. Later in its tenure, it became an asphalt track that hosted late model races, legends, modified races, and featured some of the most famous NASCAR drivers in their infancy and their careers. Now it is basically an autocross and drift track, but here in the iRacing service, we have gone back to its roots and are back here to race on the dirt. Welcome everybody to PTRTV, where tonight we do have round number 2 of the TNR Master Millwright Big Block Series here at Lanier. This race brought to you by Deluxe Detail. Giving you the calls here tonight, going to be myself, Corey Silva, up in the booth and giving you the pictures here on the screen as we are just entering our qualifying session. Happy to have all you guys with us here. I know last week didn't go as we planned by having a tape delayed broadcast, so glad to actually be live for the pictures here this evening. We got ourselves sorted with the issues we have, as these guys will be under qualifying right now. Hot laps around. We're going to have 2 heats on the evening, leading ourselves into the feature event here tonight. Should be about a 1-hour event here, so get yourself strapped in and ready to go. Watching on track right now, we are following Gavin Manning at the moment in that number 51 machine. Still learning a lot of the names here in the series, so if I do butcher somebody, got to give me the benefit of the doubt on that. But we did see a great race last week at Volusia as our season opener. We did manage to get the tape delay broadcast on YouTube, so if you haven't gone and seen that, you definitely can go back and take a gander at it. But last week we did see that race that had a lot of cautions. We did have a little bit longer of a race because it was the initial race of the season. This race will kind of be more in tune with what the season is going to have. We're going to have the 10 lap heats and then lead ourselves into the 35 lap feature event here. Of course, caution laps will not count. Let's try to see what the scope of the lap times are this evening. Bobby Trapper had that good run last week. Didn't really finish where he really deserved to last week. Just couldn't quite nail the restarts. We had restarts aplenty, and for him, they just did not go in his favor and fell back to the back. But this qualifying session so far working as redemption for him. And of course, bottom right here display Deluxe Detail. Every race here in the Master Millwright Big Block Series does have a sponsor, and it is indeed Deluxe Detail. I actually used to be an auto detailer myself, so I am akin to that sponsor myself. Nick Rochinski on the track right now in that number 20. You can see really struggling there through 3 and 4. Really high on the track, currently last of the drivers who have taken time. Lanier is a very interesting track in the way that it does race. You can usually see this track really open up, and everybody will go bottom to top, and there is kind of a special lip right on the bottom of the racetrack, kind of hard to see. Well, as we're on board here with Keith Carba, he's running that high group, but right on the bottom of the racetrack there, traditionally on the asphalt version of the track, that would actually be the apron. But iRacing didn't quite level the dirt out here when they built this track. They kind of just put the dirt over the existing asphalt surface. So that little apron there's a certain little groove down there where if you can nail it, there is some grip to be found, but I'm sure you'll see guys moving all and amongst the racetrack this evening. Our weather conditions here from Brazelton, Georgia, 78 degrees in the air with a 67-degree track temp, so that track should keep a little bit more moisture in it because it is going to be a little bit cooler indeed. Trying to see if I can go back and get some of our race results from last week because, well, a week's time is more than my memory can withstand by itself here. So let's see if we can go ahead and pull that up. And 2022 season. Yes, we have. Oh, I don't have point standings. I'm sure it's there, but I don't have it for the time being, so we'll deal with that. But right now, everybody has run their qualifying lap. So basically, what will happen? We are going to have 2 heat races, each being 10 laps. The top 4 of each will be inverted based on what I saw in the iRacing information page. So they will be inverted for the feature. However, you do get points for the heat races, so it's kind of a common misnomer in a lot of leagues, a lot of series, that you don't want to try in the heats because you want to have the better starting position for the feature. Well, not the case here tonight. You want to get that solid heat finish so that way you can get the points, and then you just have to kind of deal with what comes from that in the feature event. But right now we're going to head down trackside for the heat race number 1. We'll pull up the ticker for that on the left side of your display. Looks like we're going to have 6 drivers in it, so we might actually have 3 heats. I thought it told me 2, but, I think we had an extra car count in there, so it might actually be 3. But we have Duante Carner up front, Brian Rubel, Carson Sylvester, Brady Cornett, Nathan Merrill, and then Nick Rochinski, the 6 drivers in this first heat race. I am suppressing a cough, folks, so if you do hear a little bit of quiet here in the background, I am trying to suppress a cough here, but doing my best to get through that as a one-man show here this evening. But Carter, you can see in that orange, blue, and black number 17. And then look at the one of Brian Rubel in that number 1 car. He did have a pretty fair run last week. I will say last week at Volusia, there was a lot of back to front, and it was really hard to say who is going to be the top dogs in the series because so many guys had varying runs from the different heats into the feature. They went front to back, back to front, took advantage of restarts, really made some power moves. The track didn't really progress too much, so we did kind of see what these guys had, and there was a lot of drivers kind of in that 3rd through 10th bubble. The top 2 kind of did manage to pull themselves away, but I'm looking forward to seeing a interesting night of action, and let's try to figure out what happens. But that pace car pulls in super early at here at Lanier. Green flag is going to be in the air, and look at that. Right off the get-go, the 17 couldn't get the power down and loses the lead right off the get-go through turn 1. And look at him go all the way to the back. Carson Sylvester in that 37 machine, well, 38 as it's painted. He's going to take the lead right off the get-go, and Dwayne Carter is going to go first to last in 1 lap here. He just could not get into his rhythm there from the drop of the green flag, but there's going to be some contact. Cornett and Sylvester contact there. Now Cornett, he's going to go around the top, but let's see if Sylvester can hang on. A very aggressive racing off the get-go. Sylvester's going to go Cornett's going to go back to the bottom of the track. Those left fronts really high and fly into the air here. Lap number 4. Sylvester trying to use any momentum from that top of the track, but I think there's too much grip on the bottom for the time being. That's where you want to be. Here comes Rubel to the inside of Sylvester here, taking lap number 5. Cross flags already. As we have Merrill and Rochinski, and to be honest, Karner about to go a lap down as this race already progresses. Rubel using that apron there, all that moisture in that groove that I talked about there, that secret groove, using all of it to his advantage here. Is that Karner hitting the fence there? I'm not sure what's going on, if that car is damaged or what, but is out to lunch right now, right in front of Rubel. That threw him off. So we're on board with Rubel here. You can see right down to that flat. He's straddling that seam because that seam really retains moisture, really retains grip over the course of the evening. But so far, Cornette running about 1/10 of a second faster than Rubel, so any attempt to gain on him is quite futile for the moment. Merrill with a solid third. Sylvester drops back to fourth, and then again Rochinski, and now Karner 2 laps down. Not sure what happened to him, but it will be a moot point for the time being, as we're already coming in to the white flag lap here. You got the super quick 14-second laps around Lanier. I forget what iRacing calls it because the name is different, but either way, that's going to be the checkered flag, and Brady Cornette is going to win heat number 1. I think it's called Lanier Raceplex in real life, but I think we're still calling it Lanier National Speedway here on the service. But that's heat race number 1. So we will get ourselves back down, get everybody reset, stacked, and ready to go for heat race number 2. As the starting lineup for heat race number 2 populates, these guys getting down to the grid here. Looks like we're going to start off with Travis Brockner, and then Kyle Rochinski in second, Jason Freeman in third, Bobby Trapper in fourth, Mike Brewer in fifth, and then Billy Thornton. Looks like it's going to be the 6th driver, and I do believe we're going to end up going 3 heats here this evening, so that is good to see. Still waiting for Thornton to hit to the grid here. There's always that one guy in every series, always that one guy who always just makes everybody wait because he doesn't hit grid till the last second. Whether he's running to the bathroom, running for a smoke, running for a drink, or just scrolling through TikTok and not paying attention, or maybe he's not here at all. One of the two, but I guess it's the option number 3. I guess he's not here. Because we are starting to roll here. Bobby Trapper showing he's ready to go. Pulls alongside the 21 Rochinski there, right off the opening grid there. But we're going to start rolling here. It's just going to be 5 of them for heat race number 2. Brockner on that 151, Rochinski in the 21. That's going to be our front row, with Jason Freeman in the what's registered as a 16 car. But it's number 20. Let me just double check. I'm sure, as everybody in the iRacing world knows, Trading Paints does Trading Paints things where it doesn't always like to update. So let's just, before we go shaming people for running wrong paint schemes, let's go double check. And everything updated, at least from my side, so is what it is. But either way, green flag in the air for heat race number 2. And to the bottom of the track goes Freeman. He's going to clear with ease. Doesn't look like you want to be a pole sitter here this evening, at least thus far. 69 Trapper really trying to run that inside. I think he actually hit the concrete there on the inside. That's going to cause him to lose a little bit of that ground. Rochinski in the 21 trying to rock that top side of the racetrack, but I think the bottom's just a little bit too powerful for the time being. You can see Trapper again straddling that seam that I've been talking about over and over again. That's just where the money is going to be here this evening, I do believe. As we keep clicking these laps off one by one. 3 laps in so far. All these drivers still under a blanket here. The competition in this heat definitely a little bit stepped up from what we had in the prior one, as Freeman out there to about 1.25 seconds. But definitely the battle goes on. Well, not for a second. Trapper's got sole possession of that. Brockner getting it. You can see the 21 of Rochinski took a really hard dive on entry there, but sometimes that dive on an entry is going to hurt you more on exit. He's running right through the slick stuff there, and you can see how he loses that time in doing so. That opens the door for Brewer, who stuck his nose in there, but wasn't quite enough room to do anything with it. Now Brewer's going to say, well, that didn't work, so let me go dust up the loose stuff up here. And I think that was a little bit higher than is feasible for the moment. But it's going to take somebody to do that. I do believe the track's going to get reset for the feature. So what we see now is not what we're going to have heading into our 35-lap feature affair here in just a little while. But not to take anything away from our leader up front, who is kind of driving off into the, as I like to call, driving off into the moonset here. 1 2/10 seconds up. But you can see he is the number 16, and from what I'm seeing, he has the number 20 on his paint scheme. So here on PTRTV, when the numbers don't match, we give you the Tomato of the Race award. So looks like one of the admins getting the Tomato of the Race award here, but he's getting the Tomato of the Race award, but he's going to get the checkered flag at least for heat number 2 by 1 2/10 seconds over Bobby Trapper. Jason Freeman gets the money from winning heat number 2. Trapper, Brockner, Brewer, and Rochinski round out the field for this one. And now we're going to get ready for heat race number 3, the final one of the evening. This will be another 5-car grid. We're going to have Eric Bonham in the first position starting pole, Thomas Oleski in second, Gavin Manning in third, Zach Weisenflew in fourth, and then Keith Carbaugh going to be the 5th driver. 5 guys rolling off in heat race number 3. And then, of course, we'll head right down into our feature event, which is going to be 35 laps with cautions not counting. So again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in here. Looks like we got a pretty good crowd here, so get excited in chat. Put your picks in chat. Still need 2 more as of this exact moment. We need 2 more guys to sub so we can hit that number 800. We're at 794 now, and we're on our road to 1,000. But we got the baby step first to get to number 800. So we just need 2. We got 17 people watching. I'm sure 2 of them haven't hit that subscribe button yet. So please give that a little doing for us, as things getting a little stacked up here on this opening pace lap. Not too sure what's going on here, but 484 of Bonham on that orange ride to the inside. I think we've had both restarts thus far, both initial starts rather. The pole sitter has just absolutely fallen drastically off the get-go. This has not been able to maintain the momentum from firing off in 3 and 4, then carrying it through 1 and 2. So we'll see if that trend does continue here this evening. But Pace truck, keep calling it a car. Pace truck's going to pull into the pit opening there, and then there goes Bonham on the accelerator. He's going to get up through the gear. He's going to get the speed up very well there, but there's some contact there with Oleski, and I believe that was Gavin Minute. They're going to go 3 wide through 3 and 4 here. 24 Weisenflew in the middle. 30 trying to run that bottom. There's still 3 wide. A little bit of contact between the 30 and the 24. 51 trying to rock the top. There's still basically 3 wide. Bonham just pulling ahead by a couple car lengths here. 24 with the big send into turn number 3. Still holding a 3 wide here. Amazing racing. Great stuff here. 24 really using that inside lane. He's going to slide up in front of the 30, but the 51 still using the momentum from the top as the 30s try to go and cross up the situation here by going back to the bottom. And now he's going to be in the back, going to be side by side 2 wide here, back to relative normalcy. Coming off corner number 2 here. Now let's see, now that I believe it is Weisenflew, now that he has the track position. Let's see if he can close in on Bonham. You can see how much he drove it on in there and managed to gain some time. And it looks like Bonham struggling there on entry, got into the slick. The 24 Weisenflew able to hold it a little bit lower into the moisture there. Get that little bit of grip, give him that drive off. But looks like Bonham got a little bit of drive off this time, but Bonham still... Oh, I think he may have hit the concrete there, washed up the track. Now, Weisenflew just took the door as it opened. goes ahead and takes the lead with relative ease there. I think Bonham kind of just made the contact with the inside wall. Very, very easy to do here at Lanier. And that just opened the door for Wise and Flew. Gavin Manning in third. Oleski has fallen off to fourth, and Keith Carbaugh hanging off in fifth, about 3 seconds back. But already on lap number 8 in this heat. So this evening, just absolutely flying along here. As we've seen 3 heats, about 5-6 drivers, no substantial wrecks here on the evening. Everyone doing a great job. I think Carbaugh starting to struggle back there, but hanging on for the time being as we come to take the white flag for heat race number 3. Or might maybe getting a little bit over anxious. Nope, there it is. Taking the white flag on the back straightaway through 3 and 4. Half second, 3/4 second lead for Wise and Flew, and he's going to take that into a heat victory. Great job by these guys to really race, you know, that 3 wide we saw for laps on laps. That's really hard to do, especially here on the dirt where you're never really in full control of the vehicle. So to do that, highly impressive, and definitely full marks go to all of these guys. As let's go ahead and go trackside with the starting lineup for our feature event. Oleski is going to lead it down here with Brewer in second, Carson Sylvester in third, Gavin Manning in fourth, Travis Brockner is going to be fifth, and then Nathan Merrill in sixth, Eric Bonham in seventh, Bobby Trapper in eighth. Then I have Brian Rubel in ninth, Zach Weisenfla in 10th as the fireworks going off here in the distance. Jason Freeman in 11th, Brady Cornett in 12th, Nicholas Rochinski in 13th, Kyle Rochinski in 14th, Keith Carbaugh and Duante Carner. Our field, Billy Thornton, seems like he did not take to the grid here this evening. We're going to have 35 laps here. Caution laps will not count. We'll see indeed how many there are as we fly our drone here over the racetrack. Cameras brought to you by Finian and DeCunha at Sim TV. So big thanks to him for allowing us to use these fine shots here this evening. But we're ready for some racing. You wanted the dirt, we brought the dirt. You wanted the mods, we got the mods. The TNR Master Millwright Big Block Series brought to you by Deluxe Detail. Getting ready for the feature event. 35 cars, 35 laps, 16 cars strong. We're racing in the feature event. I'm going to fire off into corner number 1 for the first time here this evening. We have contact already off the get-go with Oleski, and that was Sylvester. Sylvester's going to lose a little bit of time. That's going to give Gavin Manning that second spot. Manning looks like he's going to dive to the inside of Oleski there. They're all fighting for the flat there on the very, very apron. They're doing everything they can to stay right down there. The 30's going to get into the slick, open the door for the 51 of Manning. Manning's going to go to the lead. Sylvester's going to try to fill in the gap, force his way through. Looks like he's going to do that. Team Cars there looking to go 1-2 here. A little bit of contact. Sylvester's going to force himself clear. I don't know how well that's going to go over with Oleski, but he's going to have to deal with it as he's going to fall to third, and here comes Brewer to try to take that fourth spot. Still a gaggle of vehicles going on, tail end of the field right here, and as soon as we follow them, we got carnage. The 24 Pogo sticking through 3 and 4. That's going to pull out the caution flag, and the leaders are going to have to watch out because pretty sure the leaders are coming close into this. Yes, they are. That's Manning. That's Sylvester here. As you know, not a lot of time to react here on the short track. So let's try to go back on replay if we can. On live replay here from our chopper, 24 into the 484 at bottom there, and then just nowhere to go for everybody else. And of course, Wise and Flood just had the worst end of the stick there. We'll just try to get one more look at it if we can. See that's bottom in that 484, 24 of Wise and Flood just sent it in there, and then that 69 of that 69 machine just got in there. That was Bobby Tucker, I believe. Bobby Trapper, excuse me. And just no room for all of these guys. Still learning the names at this point, guys, so bear with me on that. But did manage to get 5 laps in there. I'm going to turn off the ticker on the top of your screen just because the ticker is just absolutely chaotic during these do not count caution sequences. So we'll turn it back on once we go back green. But we are, I think we are delaying the, we had lights out, but lights are back on, which very common here for Lanier. The caution laps are so short, as you'd expect with how short the track is. But it's also a very long pit road too, so if anybody does pit for any reason, it just takes forever to get things normalized out. So sometimes you just need a little bit of more time to do so. And it looks like everybody's kind of wadding up here. I don't know, I think we're a little bit slow. I think, are we going this time by? Trying to figure out what's going on. No, lights are, the pace truck is still out there. Now the lights are off. So let's try to get ourselves situated here for the second restart of the evening. It's going to be Manning as our control vehicle. And he's going to get on the loud pedal here. Green flag back in the air to take lap number 6. Sylvester got a pretty good restart on the top of the racetrack. And he's going to get pushed out of the way by Oleski. I don't think Oleski liked how he was raced there before. And he's going to have to deal with that because he made some contact as we are back under the caution flag. Trying to figure out what stemmed this one. I don't really have any imminent causes here. I'm just trying to go back here on my telemetry that I do have to see if anything stands out. Not quite finding anything. And it's pretty simple here on the dirt tracks to trigger a caution. The way that iRacing triggers the cautions, if a car is sideways enough in comparison to the regular, you know, direction of traffic, if a car passes you while you're sideways, basically that could be all it takes to throw a caution out. So you very frequently will have drivers who are just loose, extremely loose, and someone will pass them and that could just trigger the caution. And they might not be loose enough to, you know, spin out entirely. They might just be loose enough where, you know, they got to back off and just gather it back up. But that could very well be enough to throw out the caution. So could have been that. I was not really focusing on the long shot there, so didn't quite do the best job to catch that. So Opa to me, I guess, I suppose as well. But everybody getting stacked up here. Lights out on the pace truck. I think everyone's still in pretty good order from last time because we didn't really go too far. So we'll see what we can do for this next restart here. We're going to take lap number 7. Sylvester and Manning leading that front row there. Looks like Manning tried to go high in the center of the corner and get that cut on the exit for the get-go on the pace lap, and more contact with Oleski and Sylvester there. Definitely no Christmas cards being sent there. Now we're going to have a 3 wide there. That's Nathan Merrill in that bright green number 7. I thought he was going to take a 3 wide attempt there, but still side by side. Oleski and Sylvester still banging doors here at Lanier. And I think that was Sylvester hitting the concrete there, forced Oleski up the track. That stacked up a bunch of them. They're 4 wide. That's Travis Brockner out there 4 wide, and now he's getting thrown off the fence. He flew in the air, got himself back, landed, and now that's the 2 machine. Brady Cornett's getting into it with Zach Weisenflew there. They managed to keep it straight. Still 3 wide just in front of that with Brockner 3 wide in the middle. You got Brian Rubel trying to rock the top, and now we have a wreck. That's Oleski again, and we got a Waffle House. They're smothered and covered over there in turn 2. Now let's go back on replay, and we'll just go to our chopper cam, and I have no idea where this stemmed from. Well, there it is. Merrill got deep into the corner there, into Oleski, and that just wadded them all up. Well, I'll take a look at it from the drone. See if that gives us a better perspective at all. See Merrill just really deep there into the corner. And once that kind of wadded up, just everybody else just goes every which direction. That drone actually did a hell of a job there giving us that view there. So that was at least helpful to say the least. But I'll tell you, Thomas Oleski, I don't know what's going on, but he has been the punching bag of the race because it just feels like he's been getting doored left and right. I don't really know how much of it he's instigated. I don't really recall seeing anything overly malicious that he did, but this seems to be the punching bag of the race. But we'll see if he's going to be able to recover from that. But the lights are out once again on lap number 10 here at Lanier. Pace truck will pull it in, and there goes Manning on the loud pedal very quickly there. Sylvester's trying to clear, and he will clear just in front of Kyle Rochinski in the 21 machine, with 21 trying to stay right on that back Nerf bar of Sylvester, trying to keep the door shut because Freeman there in the 20 just behind. You don't want to, right now everyone's fighting for the bottom, so you don't want to slip up a bit, because you slip up into the slick, you're going to slow up and probably open the door for 3 or 4 guys to get right on past you. Brewer in that 39 just behind us right now. Everybody ringing around the bottom here at Lanier. Very surprised nobody able to make that cushion work or try to push it all the way to the top of the track, keep that momentum. But I talked in the pre-race to a massive extent about that little apron transition there. It really retains the moisture, and these guys are using that to their advantage here. Go quickly sift. I don't have any eminent causes that stand out to me, but I will sift through the replay really quickly and see if I can find something. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm not really. And it's kind of hard to sometimes find the cause of these, but I don't find anything, guys, and I don't want to just have you sift through a waiting screen forever. So again, we'll just call that a it must have just been a small little incident, nothing that we saw with the cameras that we had live at the time in the telemetry. Also not really giving me any of the details either, but we're finding it when we can, folks. Best that we can do here this evening. But lights have been going out on the pace truck very quickly today, so we are getting organized. No pit stops being made, so that makes the reset process that much easier. But pace truck's going to take that hard left in there one more time, and we're going to get back on the loud pedal. Look how well Sylvester stayed on that outside. He's going to dive in, and looks like Manning slipped up there, 37 rather. He's going to do the crossover, get below his teammate there. They're going to go side by side into 3. Sylvester really try to hold that bottom as we're getting some carnage. I thought 2, 3, 4 wide for a second. The 2 machine of Cornette really dove into the inside of Trapper there, entering 1 and 2. Everybody absolutely all over the Lanier Raceplex, but looks like everybody's starting to navigate back to the bottom. I see that one driver rocking the top of the racetrack now. I think that's Brewer, and look at him making some headway up there right now. I think that's the 1 machine back there, back on the inside fence. That's Brian Rubel. Let's see if he can get rolling, and he will, but I think that was the trigger of that caution. Let's see. Oleski. Oh, Oleski hit him. And you can see, like I talked about, I think it was maybe because Rubel stopped. I think that may have been it, but you know, the smallest thing, sometimes that's all it takes to throw out the cautions. And very interesting to see, because Brewer there just saw that before we went to caution. Brewer really was making some headway, really ripping all the way to the top of the racetrack, and he got himself into the top 5. I don't know what he can do in regards to those to Sylvester and Manning up there, But we'll see what he's able to do. Freeman's still quietly hanging back there at third. I don't think he has the winning pace, but he's definitely fast enough to take advantage if anything does happen up there. And I do want to thank everybody because we broke the barrier, 803 subs at the moment, so we broke our short-term goal. So I want to thank everybody for that. Hope you are enjoying the show. Pace truck is back in, back green flag racing, 38 of Sylvester. Going to take that really low line and look at Manning really try to rim ride up there. We'll see if he's able to make that stick. Freeman all the way to the bottom there, running the moisture line on the apron, and you can see that top of the track just not really giving that momentum off of the exit of the corners that you would anticipate it doing. You can see he gets it right there. I think maybe he ran it a little bit better. Brewer really kind of right rear in the fence there trying to make it happen. Looks like him and Manning are really the only ones that are willing to do something up there because, you know, as the age-old saying, you can't pass them if you're running in the same line as them. So you got to do something a little different. I think Manning there sent it in a little bit too deep, but he's just trying to make something happen here as the 30 of Oleski sideways in the middle of the track right into Brewer. Not sure what the situation was there, but that is the power of the instant replay. A little nervous on this one, folks. 20, that's Nick Rochinski there, and Oleski just kind of, well, he had a hard time getting it spun around, but did kind of take his sweet time to do so. But I don't want to place too much judgment there. He has had a rough race, so he's had the speed, but you know, just kind of getting beaten around like a pinball here this evening. So we'll see what he's able to do for the remainder here, as we are closing in on 10 laps to go. We're at 12 laps to go, basically after every caution. We do lose a lap after every caution. The DNC cautions here on iRacing work a little bit nuanced, so if we take the caution on lap number 22, we will go green at the start of 23. It doesn't actually kind of keep it on 22 for the restart, so it's just kind of the little nuances of simulator world that we do have to deal with. So we will take the green at lap number 23, and we'll have about 13 laps to go. Everyone trying to time that restart there. I'll tell you, Bobby Trapper, he's got himself up here when it matters, and look at him rocking the bottom here. He actually has a look, but oh, we have some carnage going on back there. That's Gavin Manning. He got beat around there. 24 Weisenflew working his way back up there. Freeman stuck in the middle of a 3 wide. A couple guys trying to make that top work. Travis Brockton trying to rock that top side as well with Manning. Nathan Merrill getting up there as well, trying to make it happen. But Bobby Trapper, we're going to interrupt that thought with another caution flag, and I think that was another one of those just got sideways enough to trigger, because I really kind of had an eye on everything, and I didn't really see anything egregious or anything overly obvious there. So caution is the name of the game here thus far. Our race recap, 7 cautions thus far in just our feature event here, but we have seen some good racing when we have been green, but the cautions are just kind of surmounting us at the moment here. Of course, we will be with you guys for all of the races here in this schedule for these for the Master Millwright Big Block Series, guys. Again, this race brought to you by Deluxe Detail. We will be at Knoxville next week. Limaland and Eldora, our next 3 races here on the service. I'm not too sure what's going on with Brewer here, but either way, we are back to 1 to go, and that's Bobby Trapper on the outside. They're trying to, play shenanigans on that restart, and he did a whale of a job on that outside, did Bobby Trapper, and here he goes all the way to the fence. he's trying to make it work up there. Everybody's fighting for the bottom, but that did not work for Trapper nearly as well as he would have needed it to. Cornette back up there. Now everyone's stopped there in the center of the corner, and now Weisenflu goes around, and I believe that's going to be another caution. Yes, it is. See what happened there. Weisenflu into Cornette. Freeman to the bottom there. That's Brockner. Brockner turns Weisenflu. That was the one machine of Rubel kind of got in the air there. And then everybody else just kind of banging fenders and Nerf bars there, trying to get each other in the right direction. So definitely all-out brawl mode here on the bull ring. Next week, again, heading to Knoxville, we will have a little bit more space to work with there on the wide half mile. Be interesting to see how the racing is there with the very, very flat surface, of course, known with the big white walls there. So I think on iRacing we do end up running the top there quite a bit, so it'll be interesting to see how that does work out. Speeds will be higher and a little bit more room to work rather than on the bull ring, but we will be at a bull ring the week up after that, heading to Limaland. So I want to make sure you stay tuned for the season here, and it looks like we're going single file. Not sure if it was an admin call or if it was a kind of an automated call, because both options are available on the service, but looks like we are going to be going single file to try to minimize the caution procession for the remaining laps here, as the lights will go out one more time. Looks like Trapper, even though he didn't get the best restart there, he got a good restart, but being stuck on that outside, wasn't able to retain the positions, but the restart gods did give him second. So he's going to get to try it one more time, trying to time it as they run down the hill here to take the green flag for lap number 27. And look at Trapper. He took the look to the bottom there. He didn't try to shove it in too much. He didn't try to fight Sylvester up the track, but he's going to be right on that rear Nerf bar. Sylvester's going to slide up. Trapper's going to force himself in there, but he nearly hit the pit wall, and that slowed him up and caused a little bit of stack up with Gavin Manning, who's getting beat by Brady Cornette here. And Manning dead sideways here, trying to get himself situated here. He'll manage to save it, but he's going to go from being about third or fourth all the way back to the 10th spot. So he's not going to be too happy with that. Again, rough racing here in the waning laps here. Cornette in that third spot. Trapper couldn't quite figure out if he wanted to run the bottom or the top, kind of ran the middle, which is not really what you want to do at all. So that's going to open the door for Cornette on the inside lane, unless Trapper can make that outside lane work, and he's trying to fight for dear life, but it's just not competitive enough to run those super fast laps. But this is very hard at this point. We're on board here with Brady Cornette. And you can see the problem that I think a couple of them had last time by. You're running that bottom in 3 and 4. You run it too low. That opening there, where there's a couple openings here where the pace car and pit entry and pit exit is. It's very easy to accidentally hit that. But so far, Carson Sylvester hanging on by a half second. Cornette about a half second back, as I said, with Trapper right on his rear Nerf bar. And it only takes one mistake here. We're on 3 laps to go, coming to 2 laps to go, so only about a minute left on the clock. Sylvester kind of washes up just a little bit there. One mistake could be all Cornette needs to close that gap in, but Cornette kind of made the same exact mistake himself. Wasn't able to take advantage of it. Gap stabilizes at about 0.4 of a second, but we're going to have a caution flag. That was Keith Carborough. Spun out on the high side of the track, and that's going to wad us up for one more restart with put us into overtime. See some contact there, lots of contact aplenty. That was Nicholas Rochinski there, and they couldn't get off of each other, and eventually sends the 29 into a loop there. And last thing that Carson Sylvester wanted to see is a caution here with just a few laps to go, especially single file, because we did see it, and it overshoots my brain of what happened last week, but there was a last-ditch effort by one of the drivers at the end of the race to royally send it. Now, it's going to be a lot harder to do a send it move here because everybody's on the bottom, so you really have to get a huge run on exit, and then maybe just 8 wheels is better than 4 on the entry of the next corner. Of course, with nobody really running the top, sliders really don't exist here in the racing we've had thus far. But here we are in an overtime finish. We're going to have 2 laps to go. Green, white checker at Lanier. Can Sylvester hang on? Can Cornet pull it off? What about Trapper? Let's find out together. Back on the accelerator. Green flag racing. Look at Cornet right to the back bumper here. Sylvester needs to keep it on the bottom of the track. He does. And Cornet makes a little bit of contact with the rear here. Entering 3 and 4. Cornet keeps it a little bit lower. He keeps his car there. Contact with Sylvester here. Coming to the white. Trapper trying to take advantage of it. Right at the top of the track. Look at him go on the top of the track. They're both wanting it on the bottom. Trapper using the top there side by side for the lead here in 3 and 4. Trapper shoots it too hard into the corner. Can he hang on at the stripe? And who gets it at the line? It's going to be Sylvester. Oh my goodness, what a finish there. Cornet and Sylvester were just fighting with each other on the bottom of the track, and Trapper just said, hey, let me try to take advantage of that and just ring around the outside myself, and almost pulled it off. Phenomenal racing here. Great finish, and hope you enjoyed that. That was a fun one to call. This shows that, you know, the top of the track didn't work too well for the majority of the race, but it did just enough when it matters, and gave us a whale of a finish. So let's go ahead and give us our final results here, and then we'll get into our post-race show and talk to some of these guys. Carson Sylvester grabs that win. Bobby Trapper nearly pulled it off with the second place. Brady Cornet in third. Kyle Rochinski in fourth. Jason Freeman in fifth. Gavin Manning in sixth. Travis Brockner, Mike Brewer, Thomas Oleski, and then Nathan Merrill, the top 10. And then rounding out our field here, Brian Rubel in 11th. Zach Wise in 12th. Duante Carner in 13th. Eric Bonham in 14th, Nick Rochinski, and then Keith Carborough. Billy Thornton did not take to the grid here this evening, but let's go ahead and try to get their cars on the track so we can kind of showcase these guys and their vehicles for their interviews. Try to get a good angle if we can. That's about as good as I think we're going to get. And we'll go straight to victory lane. I got Carson. You got a copy, bud?
Yeah, I do.
What a race there. What a finish. You and Gavin kind of had control of the race, but those restarts just came up, and we saw so many bumpers. We saw so many dives in there. And then all of a sudden, you and Cornet get fighting on the bottom, but there goes Trapper nearly pulling it off on the outside. What was going through your mind there?
Man, I was scared. I did not want that caution to come out, but we held it together. My buddy Leo in Discord was helping me out a lot there, keeping me on the bottom. I was about to go to the top, but we held it together and came out with the win. Kind of sucks for Brady. He got hit a couple times, but sucks for my teammate as well. Brady kind of got into him, but we'll take it. I'm glad with the win. Yeah, it was fun. Asphalt racing, but it was cool.
Yeah, we see, obviously, I know on the dirt side, the outside is usually the OP line, but here at Lanier, that moisture on that apron line, everyone's fighting for it like it's PJ1 at Bristol. How stressful was it just making sure you don't slip and get into the slick there? And then I know a couple guys had issues even with the pit wall openings down there.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I run this track a lot. I've been running dirt iRacing since it came out, so I'm really familiar with this track, but I've ran a lot of big money races, and honestly, that was probably the most stressful race I've ran because it was super hard to get it to stick on the bottom like that. And if you let up one time, there's a guy behind you ready to pass you. So it's a cool win. It was tough, but it was fun.
It was, man. So round 2 of the season, you get yourself in victory lane. Who do you want to thank? Give a shout out to for your efforts.
Yeah, I want to thank Gavin Manning, Tyler Blankenship, Leo Pena, Colin Hibden, Addicted to Dirt Racing, El Dorado. That's about it.
All right, man. Congrats again on the thrilling victory, and maybe we'll talk to you next week at Knoxville.
Thank you. Hopefully.
All right, and now second place, Bobby Trapper. I don't know how you came out of nowhere there at the end, and you nearly made that outside lane send it work when the Trapper and Cornet were, rather Sylvester and Cornet were fighting there on the bottom. Talk about using that outside and nearly pulling it off there at the very end.
I think like you just said it there, I kind of just got lucky. I knew it was going to be a traffic jam on the bottom, and I figured I'd just run the top and hope for a couple guys to bounce around and get lucky, and that's what I did. Just came up a little short though.
Yeah, I know it definitely was hard to pass here, kind of being ring around the bottom for the most part. A couple of guys like yourself tried to make that top work, but just couldn't get it going. Do you think you have the pace to run up there all race if you had the track position? Where do you think the car kind of should have run tonight, given the setup you had?
I mean, everyone being equal, I think we're probably a top 5 car, and I know a little tough earlier there. I bumped into Kyle. I also got taken out in the first lap, but I think top 3 is pretty good, and everyone in the front seems really competitive. If we can get the races going with a few less cautions, I think it'll be some real good racing.
Yeah, we'll see what happens at Knoxville next week. You guys have a little bit more space to play with there, so we'll see what you guys can do. But any shout-outs, thanks you want to give for your podium effort here this evening?
I just got to thank TNR, Master Millwright, and Jason Freeman, Garrett Gleason, and Brian Rubel for putting the series on. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully we can keep this up.
All right, sounds good, Ben. Congrats again. Maybe we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
And now to round out our podium, we have Brady Cornet. You got a copy, man?
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right, you got fighting there with Sylvester. You nearly pulled it off, and then Trapper just came and kind of surprised you both on the outside. Nearly got the win himself. Talk about your race and ultimately that last restart.
Yeah, this inverse crap, man, just sucks. I probably got the fastest car out here, and having to start 12th every race, especially on a rubbered up track around the bottom, you got to make moves, man. You got to throw the bumper, the door. Whoever's mad at me, they can be mad at me. It's part of racing. We're racing for points. We're gonna win. We're gonna try to win this points. But yeah, we started 12th again. Just drove up, took our time, got caught up in every wreck. It felt like came from 17th. Came from 17th again, and drove back up to 3rd. Fell back to 5th there, and then we got back up to 3rd there, and me and Gavin made contact. He's mad at me. We're going to talk about it after this race. Then we got that restart with 2 to go, and I felt like I had Carson there. I gave him a bumper, and then we just got hooked together, so I hit the brakes and told Carson it's his race. I'm not going to take anybody out for the win or nothing like that, but all in all, it was a good night for our team.
Yeah, I mean, I know how. I don't think anything about bad words with each other is going to be a thing this night, man. Everybody was bumping fenders here this evening, so if anything, the whole field will be mad at each other. But I don't think you did anything too egregious. You're just racing hard on a track that's hard to pass on. And race number 2. What do you think we have coming into Knoxville? Any do you feel competitive headed into that place?
Oh yeah, I feel really competitive right now. Our Blackjack Racing car, M&M chassis, is just really fast right now. We're good wherever we load in at right now. I got my boy back in Discord, Zach Wazenflew, helping us out there, and we're just really good right now. I feel like we're competitive everywhere we go.
All right, well that's the motive that everybody loves to have, is you can win every single week. So we'll see what we can do in Knoxville. Any thanks, shout outs you want to give if you didn't already?
Yes, sir. I just need to thank Blackjack Racing, Buddy Mills, Jonathan Cooper, Michael Granette, just everybody there. I got to thank Zach Wazenflew. He's helping us out here in this lead. We're in Discord together. Just got to thank Capital Race Cars, CMP Automotive, JNC Auto Care, Dalrymple Realty, Circle D Farm, Circle of Friend Daycare, Capital Custom Paint, Summit Road Auto, Mr. Ricky Eschbach. He helps us out a ton on the iRacing and my real car. Got to thank you for broadcasting, Jason Freeman and Brian Orable for putting on this lead. Just got to thank everybody watching back at y'all's house. Maybe we put on the show for y'all. Just thank y'all.
And sounds like you've done that once or twice, man. So congrats again, and I'm sure we'll talk to you over the season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, folks, so that is a broadcast here on PTRTV. Want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you haven't liked and subscribed, again, we've really hit the view counts today, so happy to see that. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so. But it's Corey signing out of the booth. Catch us next week for more racing. Catch us Thursday night for the Red Sox Racing League here on the channel. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.